to the Parkinson's Foundation PD Health at Home Fitness Fridays. My name is Trisha Creel, and I am a physical therapist and the co founder of MDT Education Solutions. Our focus today is strong and balanced, which means we will challenge our balance while simultaneously improving our strength. A two for one. You should be performing balance and strength training at least 2 to 3 days per week, according to the Parkinson's Foundation exercise recommendations. For class today, you're going to need a sturdy chair. We will be sitting for more than half of the class, and then also optionally a set of light hand weights. But if you don't want to use hand weights for any of the exercises, you are welcome to do them all just body weight. The plan for the class is to start with a 5-minute warm up, and then we're going to go through 20 minutes of strength training. The first 10 minutes will be in sitting, and then the second 10 minutes will be in standing, and then we'll finish with a 5-minute cool down. While we're doing the exercises in sitting, one of the ways that we're going to challenge our balance is through a lot of head and eye movements. So although we'll be sitting, we're going to be targeting our vestibular system, which is a system in our body that has a lot to do with helping us stay balanced as we move, especially with head and eye movements. So even though we'll be sitting, we will be stimulating a system in our body that does contribute greatly to our balance, especially when we are up and moving around. And then in the second half of the class, we will focus on exercises in standing that do have a standing balance challenge. Okay, let's go ahead and get started. So we are going to do the warm up in sitting. So go ahead and turn that chair and have a seat. Make sure that your space is clear and that you are ready to go. All right, let's get started with our warm up. So scooting to the edge of your chair, I want you to start with a nice deep breath in, arms go up to the ceiling, and then breathe out again. Let's do that one more time. Good. Bring those arms down and then bring your arms up in front, and we're going to start with an alternating punch out in front. So throughout our class today, as we're doing that strength training, a lot of it is going to be focused on arm strength. And so during the warm up, it's really important that we get shoulders, elbows, wrists warmed up fully. This is always a good idea before you do any type of strength training. Good. So strong punches. See if you can extend your elbow fully out with each punch, just so you're going through your entire comfortable range of motion. That looks good. Couple more here, and then we're going to switch to our second warm-up move. In 3, 2, and 1. Nice job. Okay, second warm-up move. Hands start at your shoulders and then press overhead and then bring your hands back to your shoulders. So overhead, shoulders, overhead, shoulders. Good. So join me in this. And then once you have that movement down, go ahead and add a heel tap out in front, just to start getting your legs warmed up as well. So big reach and stretch overhead, trying to go through your full comfortable range of motion, while also simultaneously stretching your feet out, one and then the other in front of you. Nice job. So hopefully you're feeling a little warmer now, getting your body prepared for the strength training. Nice job. Okay, 3 more here. That's 1, 2, and 3. Nice job. Okay, now we're going to switch, and I want you to do a big reach and lean out in front, and then pull your arms back behind you. Big reach and lean out in front, and then pull your arms back behind you. So we're going to do a move similar to this later on in class, holding the weights. So it's a nice idea, whatever movement you're going to be doing in as a part of your strength training program, to go through that as part of your warm up and preparation, just to make sure those muscle groups are warmed up and stretched out. Good. Let's do 3 more, 2 more, and then last one. Nice job. Okay, we've got 2 more warm-up moves. Our next warm-up move, I want you to swing your arms as if you were jogging. You might want to be more towards the front of your chair with this one, just so you can make sure that you're going through your full range of motion with that arm swing, that your arms are not just going in front, but they're also going behind you, so that you have room to go a little bit past your hips behind you. And then when you're ready, add a march. Good. So this is definitely a great full body movement that goes a long way to getting you warmed up and ready for strength training. Good. So a couple more here, and then we're going to move right into our last warm-up move. And 3, 2, and 1. Nice job. All right, last warm-up move. I want you to stretch one arm and leg out to the side, and then bring it back into the middle, and then the other arm and leg out to the side, and then back to the middle. So just moving arms and legs through multiple different planes of movement, just to make sure that we are fully warmed up and ready to go. Nice job. We have about 15 more seconds here. And then we're going to move right into our first block of strength training exercises in a seated position. Good. And let's do 1 more each side. All right, nice job. We are done with the warm-up section. Well done. Okay, so for our first block of strength training exercises, this is a 10-minute block of exercises, and we are going to be doing these sitting down in the chair. And optionally, you can use a set of light hand weights. But if that's not working for you today, or you don't have a weight that's appropriate for the exercise that we're doing, feel free to go ahead and do each exercise just body weight. All right, our first exercise, you're going to take those hand weights and you're going to drop them down by your side. It does help to be sitting on the edge of your chair so you have a little bit more room to do this. And you are going to lean down, touch those weights to the floor, then sit back up again. Weights go to your shoulder, and then you're going to press the weights up overhead. And as you press them up, look up with your head and your eyes. So as you're going through this exercise, weights go down to the floor, then you sit back up, weights go to the shoulders, and then press them overhead. You want to try, if you can, to follow the weight with your head and eyes to get that vestibular system stimulation. Now, that being said, if any of these head and eye movements cause dizziness, stop and take a break. See if that dizziness passes and if you're able to join back in. But if not, just do the exercise without the head movements. So always make modifications that are right for you. Good. But as you can see, if you're able to do this with the full head and eye movements, that we are really moving head and eyes through a very big range of motion. Nice job. Good. All right, we're gonna do two more here. One, and then two. Nicely done. Well done. First exercise in the books. All right. Second exercise, you just need one hand weight for this one. So you can go ahead and put one down on the floor and you're going to hold the single weight in both hands. And what you're going to do is you're going to drop the weight down to one side with trunk rotation and then rotate the other direction, lifting the weight up over your head. So you're going to rotate low and then rotate to lifting high on the other side. So rotate and lean low, rotate and lean high. And then as you're doing this, if you can follow the path of the weight with your head and your eyes, then you are going to be stimulating your vestibular system, which is part of what we are working on today. But as I said before, if that causes dizziness, please just modify this exercise so that you do it without the head and eye movements. Nice job. Good. We're going to do two more on this side, and then we'll switch to the other side. One more. And then two more. Nice job. Okay, let's switch to the other side. So drop the weight down and then lift it up. Nice diagonal head and eye movements. And as you may have already noticed, we are sneaking in some core strengthening here. It definitely takes core strength to move your body through this rotation and to help to control the weight as you lift and lower it. So lots of good things going on in this exercise. Nice job. Let's do three more here. One, two, and three. Well done. First two exercises in the books. Okay, let's move on to our third exercise in this first block. So you're going to pick up both of your hand weights. Again, if you're using hand weights, and I'll show you the exercise, you are going to have start with your hands close to your chest, and then you're going to slide them out and then back in again. So you want to pretend like there is a railroad track in front of you and that those weights are moving forward along the railroad track and then coming back in. So you can see my elbows are not out to the side. They're tucked into my body. My palms are facing each other, holding the weights. All right, so let's get started. You're going to move those weights out and in, out and in along those railroad tracks. And then to add the vestibular component to it, as you're moving the weights out and in, I want you to turn your head from one side and then back to the other. Good. So as you can tell, we are definitely stimulating the vestibular system in a lot of different planes. We have already moved our head and our eyes through big ranges of motion, forwards and backwards, diagonally, and now we're turning our head side to side. So the goal is really to give you a good foundation so that your body can adjust to head and eye movements in sitting, with the idea that when you transition to movements in standing, that you will have laid a good foundation for being able to move with head and eye movements and not become dizzy and off balance. Good. Nice job. Let's do 2 more here. And then that's 2. Well done. Well done. Okay. All right. For our final exercise in sitting before we transition to standing, you just need 1 weight. So go ahead and drop 1. And let me show you the exercise, and then you can determine what's the right amount of weight for you. So what we're going to do, you're going to have your weight without the hand, your hand without the weight out here to the side. And then you're going to lean towards that hand while simultaneously lifting the other arm up overhead and then turning to look at your hand holding the weight if you can, and then bring it back down. So because we're extending our arms out to the side and then kind of holding it up there at a diagonal with the weight extended with a straight arm, that requires a lot of shoulder stability. So do a practice round and make sure that your shoulder feels comfortable having that weight up over your head at that angle, and either go down in weight if you need to, or do this exercise without any weight at all. Okay, so hopefully you've got the appropriate weight or get that and join in with us. And let's get started. And then remember, optionally, once you're feeling stable with this exercise and you feel good and strong holding that weight up over your head, then you can optionally turn your head and your eyes and look up at the weight. So now we're getting cervical rotation and extension combined. So this is a challenging exercise for sure, but also a really good one. All right, good. We're going to do 2 more here. And then 2, and then we're going to switch and go to the other side. And you may notice as you do the first repetition on the other side that it might not feel exactly the same. That's pretty normal. A lot of us have differences side to side in both strength and range of motion. So if the weight that you were using on the first side doesn't feel good on the second side, feel free to go ahead and change that to a weight that's more appropriate. Doing this kind of unilateral work is really helpful. You kind of helps you understand what areas of, again, strength and flexibility you might need to target side to side. Good. All right, we're going to do 2 more here. 1 and 2. Nice job. All right. We are done with the seated block of strength training exercises. We're now going to transition into standing. But if that's not for you today, if you are just feeling like you need to be exercising and sitting for whatever reason, that is totally fine. Stay sitting and just modify the exercises to do them from a seated position. All right, I'm going to make sure that I move my weights out of the way before I stand up so that I'm not tripping on them. And then I'm going to turn my chair. Okay. All right. And for all of the exercises that we're going to be doing in standing, you will just need 1 weight. So go ahead and pick up 1 weight. That will leave you with a hand free to hold onto the chair if you need that for balance. Okay, so our first exercise in standing, we're going to be doing a shoulder raise with a hand holding the weight. So straight arm just to about shoulder height. A front raise, a front shoulder raise. And then when you're ready, go ahead and add a heel raise with that. So as you raise your hand up holding the weight, I want you to go up on your toes. Good. Definitely a balance challenge, so you're welcome to try this without holding on, see how that goes. But if you're not feeling stable with that, definitely hold on. And obviously, if you're sitting and doing this exercise, just go ahead and do that front raise and the heel raise in the seated position. Nice job. All right, we're going to do 3 more here. 1, 2, and 3. Nice job. Okay, now we're going to switch hands. If you need to move the chair so that it's near the hand that's free, then please go ahead and do that. We're going to get going on the other side and join in whenever you are ready and feel safe. Okay, and you may notice that we are getting a double dose of heel raises because we're doing unilateral front raises with our arm, but bilateral heel raises. So if your calves are starting to speak to you and they're getting tired, just go ahead and take a break from the heel raises and continue on with the shoulder raises. Good. And we've got 3 more here. 1, 2, and 3. Nicely done. Okay, let's go ahead and switch the weight back to the first arm. And for our second exercise, with your arms, you're going to keep the weight close to your body and just pull it up to your shoulder with a nice high elbow, and then drop it back down. So you notice I'm keeping the weight really close to my body. Elbow goes up high, and I drop the weight straight up and down. All right, and once you feel comfortable with that, I want you to add a backwards toe tap. That's your balance challenge. So again, this is optional. If you're not feeling comfortable with reaching behind you with your toes, then either hold on to the chair or don't do the backwards heel tap at all. Just focus on the strength training. It is perfectly okay to customize the workout to whatever you need. Nice job. Good, that looks great. Okay, we're gonna do 3 more on this side. 1, 2, and 3. Nicely done. Let's switch to the other side. Good. Just remembering that I've got the chair to the side so that you guys can see me fully, but if it would work better for you to have the chair in front of you, then please do that. My setup does not need to be your setup. Make whatever adjustments you need to stay safe. Good. Okay, we're gonna do 3 more. 1, 2, and 3. Nice job. All right, let's switch those weights again. For our next exercise, with our arms, we're going to do a bicep curl. So standing up tall, you're just going to bend your elbow to bring the weight up to your shoulders and then back down again. So up to your shoulders and then back down again. And then for your balance challenge, you're going to raise one knee up and then bring it back down. So you will end up standing on one foot with this. And the slower you go, obviously the longer you stand on one foot and the harder it is from a balance perspective. So please hold on if you need to. Good. Or, don't do the march at all. Just do the bicep curl if you need to. Good. We're going to do 2 more. 1 and 2. Nice job. And then we're going to switch and go to the other side. So start with that bicep curl, kind of get the movement down. Good. And then when you're ready, you can add in that knee raise. Nice job. All right, we got a couple more here, and then we just have one more exercise in our strength training block, our second strength training block, which will bring us to a total of 20 minutes of strength training. Good, we're gonna do two more here. One and two. All right, nice job. So for our last exercise, you do not need any weights at all. So go ahead and put your weights out of the way so that they're not a tripping hazard. And for this last one, we're actually going to change our base of support to make it wider. So we have been working with your feet about shoulder width apart. Now I want them wider than shoulder width apart if you can do that. And then what we're going to do with our arms is stretch them out to the side. So nice straight elbows. And then I want you to start turning your hands as if you are opening and closing a doorknob. So turn a doorknob. Good. So definitely no weights required for this one to work on improving your strength in your shoulders. This is one of those exercises that feels relatively easy at first, and then the longer you do it, the longer you're holding up your arms, the harder it gets. Good. And then finally, as you're getting that movement down, I want you to finish with just some big side-to-side weight shifts. I'm sure your arms are getting tired by this point. Mine definitely are. If you need to drop your arms for just a second and then rejoin us, that's fine. But don't worry, we only have about 10 more seconds here. So big weight shift side to side to challenge your balance, while also really working on strengthening your shoulder muscles. Good. 3, 2, and 1. You are done. Congratulations. 20 minutes of focused strength training with balance challenges layered on top of the strength training. So well done today. All right. To finish up, we're going to cool down with a little bit of stretching. So turn your chair and come have a seat. We did a lot of shoulder work today. So we're going to spend a little bit of time doing some stretching to address that. But first of all, take a nice deep breath in. Arms go up way over your head and just hang out here for a second and reach and stretch for the ceiling. So trying to lengthen your spine and get your elbows as close to your ears as you comfortably can. Bring those arms back down again. And let's do that one more time. Nice deep breath in. See if you can go a little bit deeper into that stretch. Elbows a little bit closer to your ears, hands a little bit closer to the ceiling, spine a little bit longer. Good. And then bring it back down. All right. Now take one arm and open it up as far as you can behind you. I want you to feel a good stretch through the front of your shoulder. Again, we did a lot of shoulder work today. So we're going to stretch out the front of your shoulders. Good. And then bring that arm across your chest, pulling on your elbow with the other hand to stretch out the back of your shoulder. Nice job. Okay, let's drop that arm and take the other arm, open way out and back, feeling a good stretch through the front of your shoulder. really important to do a good stretching program, especially after you've done strength training. Also, remember to give yourself a rest day between strength training days. And let's bring that arm across to stretch the back of our shoulders. So since we did a heavy shoulder focused workout today, in terms of strength training, I would recommend that you give your shoulders a rest tomorrow. It would be appropriate to do a leg strengthening day, but definitely want to give your shoulders a rest tomorrow. All right, and then bring that arm down, and let's do a little bit of stretching for your legs now. So it helps if you are on the edge of your chair for this hamstring stretch. That just allows you to extend your knee so that your leg is fully straight. So once your leg is fully straight out in front of you, you want to lean forward as far as you comfortably can until you feel a stretch in the back of your leg. Try to lean forward just far enough, as far as you can without that knee bending. So try to maintain your leg in a straight position throughout the stretch. Reaching forward again as far as you can comfortably. Good. Come back up to sitting, and then we're going to switch and go to the other side. So sitting on the edge of your chair, nice straight knee, reach forward. Good. And then the last thing we're going to do today after this stretch is just wrist and ankle circles to finish us out. So go ahead and sit up, and then wrist and ankle circles on one side. Hopefully after 20 minutes of holding weights, these wrist circles feel really good. Good. Can definitely go the other direction. And then let's switch and go to the other side. Good. Go in the other direction. And we are done. Congratulations. Nice job today. Thank you again for joining us for the Parkinson's Foundation PD Health at Home Fitness Friday video series. For more information about the Parkinson's Foundation exercise recommendations as a prescription for people living with Parkinson's disease, please visit parkinson.org/exercise. Have a great rest of your day.